Hey, welcome back to another episode of Instant Ramen Podcast. I'm your host, Chris, and with me this week is Kyle. Kyle, how are you?
Hey, it's me again, here to bother everybody who likes things.
So, each season of anime, we decide on what we think would be the worst show to watch for various reasons. And this season, rather, we settled on Isekai Cheat Magician, which Kyle's going to tell us about in a bit. Just to give you a heads up of why we decided on it. Kyle's watched a bunch of different kinds of shows. He's watched comedies, harems, just general ecchi shows. He's watched pretty much everything there is out there.
Sexy boys,
just all of it. But this one is just a really generic but poorly animated, weird isekai. And I feel like that fits a new kind of genre. Like, isekais have been around for a little bit, and they become more and more popular and prevalent. But we haven't really explored a really bad one. So I feel like this is a perfect opportunity. I don't know. Hopefully.
It is.
All right, good. Then we'll talk about that in a bit. So, Kyle, it's been like 12 weeks, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
How have you been? What's new? What's your life?
Let's see. Well, we finished Pathfinder.
We finally finished Pathfinder. Yeah. Kyle and I, or Juan and I talked about it.
Okay, I didn't know if anyone had heard about it.
From the DM's perspective, well, let's hear your stuff.
Well, I'm really glad it's over because I'm tired of using Pathfinder rules.
Yep.
I don't like them.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a hot take, too.
Well, we've gone over a little bit about why you don't like it, and why it's the end of Pathfinder. Just too many options isn't always a good thing. It becomes too many for a reason, and Pathfinder gives you an overwhelming amount of options and not enough creativity.
Well, it sounds like this Kyle guy just doesn't like good tabletop pen and paper RPGs.
Kyle, nobody gives a fuck about some rando's opinion on shit. This whole podcast is us talking about goddamn nothing.
You tell that to the guy that liked my opinion about that one show.
Man. The guy who liked your opinion on that one show called you the N-word. That motherfucker. He was right. Yep,
yeah.
You are.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I don't know. Nobody gives a fuck about anything. So if they do call you out on talking shit about Pathfinder,
I want them to.
Okay. Everyone call out Kyle because he's an idiot and he doesn't know what's good.
Yeah, it's true. I'm glad to be done with Pathfinder. Despite how much fun they were, the not two original members of the party didn't really take it seriously enough for my liking.
Yeah. Oh well. You know, that's what happens. It's, when you join something that's already been around for a couple of years, it's hard to join it with 100% seriousness, Okay. We could leave it at that if you want.
Yeah.
All right.
I have some opinions.
All right. But it was a blast.
As the reason of this show existing.
Yeah, well,
But it was a long time. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm just ready to move on from Pathfinder and start probably another D&D project.
Yeah, you've been telling me some ideas, and I'm excited for them to finally come to a new point. Because, at this point, there are just a lot of different ideas out there, and nothing's really...
Yeah.
I don't
There's
really
just
know
shit
how
I
to put
want to
it.
do.
Yeah, there's shit you want to do, but none of it is committed to at all yet. Yeah, I'm excited to find out what your next situation is going to be. Because you currently are doing another D&D campaign.
Correct.
And you tell me some stories, and it sounds like a blast.
Yeah, it's a good time. Playing on Thursday.
Hell yeah.
As far as I know.
What's up next with the boys? I'm assuming nobody that you play with listens to this podcast.
Of course not.
And would listen to it on the day before you guys play. But
no, absolutely not.
What do you have going on?
Well, they're all at a vampire's house.
Uh-huh.
and only one of them is worried about it. Everyone else is like, okay, whatever.
I mean, it's vampires. They exist. So
Which,
what?
To be fair, the ones who don't care are kind of the ones in the right because he's a nice guy and he's lonely. That's him.
That's him. Okay.
And then the one who's concerned that they're sleeping in a vampire's house. It's the most realistic reaction, but also the least that needs to be true because he's not going to hurt them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're just getting a nice little place to stay, and there may or may not be people being murdered.
So we'll see what happens there, and then after they get out of that spooky forest, they'll be at kind of like the next hub. We'll be here for a while to do various things.
And you just recently, today, found something that you were pretty stoked about for D&D.
Yeah. Some guy was talking about how like dumb players are with puzzles.
Yeah. I mean, you've experienced it firsthand.
Yeah. But, it falls under the DM's problem of I have 100% of the information. Mm-hmm. So, of course, it sounds like...
So you don't realize if it's too difficult or not obvious.
Yeah, like, this is easy. Like, I can see the table where the thing is. Like, I see that. They don't know what I'm talking about, though.
They're trying to imagine it, and they're just like, okay, well, sounds cool, but I don't know. And then they forget what it looks like because they're thinking about other stuff. And then they're trying to remember, like, all the different abilities they have when you're like, oh, it's not an ability puzzle, but...
Someone on Reddit was saying that they don't really come up with a solution for a puzzle. They just wait until their players come up with something they find suitably creative enough. Mm-hmm. I do really like that idea.
Which I legitimately thought that you did when we were doing some temple puzzles. There are a bunch of different metals that have like
Steven Universe ripoff.
Yeah, essentially. They're people, but they also are animals, and they're all different metals. Anyways, we were going in to do one of the trials, and it was the Party Boys trials. Silver the snake, dwarf man. Mm-hmm. And there were two different chambers. There was one with an endless goblet of wine, and Sierra wound up having her character drink from it, threw up, rallied, drank more, and then passed that puzzle. And then my character posed and did a dab for a while some walls were enclosing on him. And then because he dabbed so hard, the walls like went back out. And essentially there were some hints around to show what to do, but I like was not one hundo about what I was doing at all. I'm like, all right, so a bunch of characters or a bunch of caricatures of people are posing on these walls. I'll just hold a pose on this pedestal. And it for sure felt like it was one of those things. It's like, all right, he's doing the thing. I'll just go ahead and make it work. And then Sierra just drinking endlessly. Who knows? It could have been like everybody has to like drink a certain amount or something. And maybe it's not endless. Maybe there is a limit. But, it's all these different things that you're thinking of at the same time. Mm-hmm. We just stumbled upon the correct solutions.
Yeah. Yeah, I have those ones ready to go. Yeah. But I really like that idea.
Super cool. I'm excited to see what you do with it. Yeah.
I think the hardest part, though, is that now you're the sole keeper of that information and potentially Juan. Now, whenever if you're in another group of mine and I present you with a puzzle, you'd be like, guys, let's just come up with something really fucking dumb and he'll let us through.
Well, no, because there's also, and we were talking about this too, you're like, you'll come up with your own solution, and if you like if you like the party solution, then you'll go with that one instead because you think it's creative and cool. And I was saying like, well, you could have like multiple possible solutions to it, and then if they do come up with something cool, that's another way to do it. Like, they're all different kinds of ways. To me, it's a fun challenge to try to see what you had planned. Yeah. For like, what kind of a puzzle is there to do? I'm going to work my ass off and try to do what Kyle planned because he thinks of things in a smart way and has it try to be fun for everyone, and you feel good about that solution. Or we could just be clever and try to do that exact same thing, and then things work out because you're like, oh, that's fucking smart. I like it.
Yeah.
Because everyone's smart in these groups. It's not just, people fucking around, stumbling through shit 100% of the time. Just most of the time.
Yeah, just most of the time.
But when puzzles come in, people have to think. And it's not just like, all right, well, y'all let me know when you're done. It's like everyone's talking.
That was like when my D&D group, I gave them like the kind of Indiana Jones bunch of different things to drink out of. One of them's the right one.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt's like, I'm just going to drink them.
All of them. Yeah.
So he started going through them. It's pretty funny.
Well, hey, man.
He went blind. His hair fell out.
You got to do what you got to do to get the whatever it was at that time.
Yeah. It's pretty funny.
That's good. I always like that shit. But yeah, end of Pathfinder. That's a pretty big moment. Continuing on to what the fuck else you've been doing in your life.
Video games.
Oh, yeah.
Video games.
Talked a lot about Monster Hunter, so I'm sure people are tired of hearing about that. Because I don't really
and
say
I'm kind of
much.
tired of playing it for now.
Honestly, yeah. We've hit that burnout point where, like, I still really want to finish all of the different weapons that I need to finish and fight all the monsters that I haven't fought in order to make them.
Mm-hmm.
But realistically, it's at the grinding point of the game where instead of like, oh, I need this, so I need to fight this monster until I get all the parts. It's like,
can't even do it quickly.
I just need to fucking level up a bunch and whatever. And that's it. And I don't really want to do that.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of rough.
Yeah. Anyways, Monster Hunter's a blast, though. I don't know how many hours I put into this DLC, but I feel like I've played it almost as much. Like, when I played the original, the Monster Hunter World, I put in less time getting to the end of it than I did with Iceborne, I think. I feel like Iceborne was longer and bigger, but only because I was doing different things. But
I feel like regular Monster Hunter World vanilla was longer, I think, just because it had more story to it.
It did have more story to it, yeah. I guess that's true.
And plus it had a lot of side quests that introduced like necessary things that we had to do, like the research, the botany boxes,
running around and doing goddamn
getting
nothing
mantles
too.
and
It did have a lot of little things like that. But I feel like where I got to kind of like the end of where I felt like at this point in Monster Hunter, I feel like I could do pretty much anything without much issue. And I feel like I spent more time getting to that point in this than I did with Monster Hunter World Vanilla. Because I just kind of got through the game, and then I felt like I could fight anything, and then it got to tempered monsters, and it became, oh man, they're scary. And then you realize, oh no, it's not that bad. But I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. Maybe it's just because I hit that burnout point faster, so it feels like it was longer.
maybe.
I don't know. Anyways, Monster Hunter's been fun, but you also started playing Total War recently.
Dude, I'm always down to play Total War. There was an expansion that came out a few weeks ago, so I've been playing that with Sam.
Yeah. So for people that don't know what it is, why don't you explain that?
The Total War series, or I guess franchise, it's by Creative Assembly, which is under Sega. It's like a grand strategy game where it's turn-based on a big map. Real-time big battles when you like zoom in on the armies. And the one we're playing is Warhammer 2, so it's like Warhammer Fantasy. And good-ass time being lizards, scaly bones, Vikings, elves, dwarves, orcs, more scaly bones, pirate scaly bones. Lots of bones.
Lots of bones.
Which I'm always down for. You can just be boring-ass humans if you want.
Which weren't you boring ass humans?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I love everybody in that. I love everybody in that game.
So I was like, did I hear you wrong?
Fuck high elves.
Yeah, fuck them. Why didn't you like high elves?
One, they don't have any guns.
Okay, no guns. That's a big downer. But what do they have instead of guns?
Thinking they're better than everybody else.
See, that's pretty cool. I like thinking I'm better than other people.
Do you know who also thinks they're better than everybody else?
Who?
Rats.
What?
And that's way cooler.
Awesome.
Rats with nuclear weapons.
Yeah, rats are better than everyone else. They're all about their toxic weapons, nuclear energy, and whatnot. Hell yeah. Get those scave boys.
Yeah. I also started playing Age of Empires 2 again with all my
Man,
boys.
some classic shit.
Of course, not against each other. We're just fighting computers.
No, with each other, yeah.
Yeah.
Because boys support boys, as we all learn
As
from
we all know.
all those podcasts and whatever the fuck else.
Yeah. This is the only podcast.
Chris Hansen, boys support boys. That's where it came from.
Yeah, there you go. There's your memes.
There you go. We did it. We nailed it.
Other than that, working.
Twerking,
Being an
doing
idiot.
some insurance.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's so cool.
You went to an air show recently. That was kind of cool.
I went to the Reno air races. It was kind of cool, but I'm also not an airplane person, so a ton of it fell flat on me.
Yeah, but you got like some cool ass food stuff going on with that.
Oh, yeah.
So I just want to hear about that again.
We went to the VIP tent.
Yeah, so your daddy hook you up because he's a sugar daddy.
Okay.
He's a sweet piece of ass, if you ask me.
I don't like that.
John hit me up.
But my
Y'all hit up John.
my regular dad
Yeah.
got the tickets, and he got it was called the hospitality tent tickets. And it was just a big ass tent with as much free drink, food, snacks, dessert, donuts, candy, fruit, beer, gin and tonics, just as much of whatever you want whenever you want it.
Mm-hmm.
That was great.
Sounds fucking rad.
Like, who cares what's going on out on that airfield? I'm gonna go get another beer, or a donut, or pizza.
Hopefully all three.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. And then I'm trying to think of other things in your life that you can't remember, but I can.
I made like $4 gambling.
What? That's nuts.
I just had to let that one sink in for a second.
Yeah.
Because I don't like gambling. I don't like casinos. I don't think it's fun. I'm just not into it.
Yeah.
But my dad likes to, so we went and started with $80.
Hell yeah.
Left with 84.
Ooh, baby.
Ooh.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, I've never been gambling before. I never wanted to, but I do hit the Pokemon casinos pretty hard.
I bet you do.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to if you want to go to
I
the
got it.
super secret rocket lair.
I gotta hit them slots, dog. I'm a slot.
Yeah.
What can I say?
Uh-huh.
Fuck, dude. I'm trying to, you know.
I went to the Relay for Life.
Hell yeah, you did. You went to the Relay for Life, right across the street from my apartments, and you just gave people everything they've ever wanted.
Yeah. So my boss at State Farm, was like, "Hey, we're gonna do a booth at the Relay for Life. If you want to get up early on Friday, you can do like an equal amount of time volunteering at the booth." I'm like, "Yeah, sure."
I'm like, bitch, yeah.
I've been in the Relay for Life before. It was a good time.
Mm-hmm. I've volunteered. I don't remember
support
why I was
cancer.
there. I probably volunteered there, but maybe I didn't.
I support the hell out of cancer.
Hell yeah, you do, dude. Cancer's rad.
Yeah.
Supporting it is.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, supporting it. So we did that. It was fun, and I was essentially just the other side of the hospitality tent. We just had a shit ton of candy and chips and fruit and water bottles and stuff, and just gave them away for free to people who were there.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "What? This is free? How am I supposed to donate to cancer?"
That's, yeah.
Well, I mean, you can donate money to the front. You don't have to use the middleman. Just take free chips and then go donate.
Yeah. Get your damn chips. Go to the front.
Because like Jamba
give
Juice
some
was
money.
there.
Yeah.
And they were like selling their shit for $5, but of course it went to the donation. You're like, why not just hand it out for free?
Yeah.
And then they can go donate. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, you know, as long as all of the money that goes to all of the different places gets donated to cancer research and prevention and whatnot,
I sure hope it did.
Then fucking rad. But if none of it did, and Jamba Juice was just taking all that sweet Jamba money back to corporate,
That dude made a lot of sales.
man, Jamba being a subsidiary of Coca-Cola, you know that they're already ripped as fuck.
Oh,
I'm saying that, trying to remember if I'm talking correctly or if I'm just spreading lies, and I hope I'm spreading lies. I can't remember if it's true or not.
I mean, you can't spell smile without Lies.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't spread smiles without spreading lies.
Oh my god.
I winked at him,
love
by
it.
the way.
Nah, he didn't. He just said that he winked at me, but he didn't actually.
All right, now I gotta prove that I did.
Slaps
Wink.
on ass. Oh, come on, man. You can't fucking say it. That's how they know it's real. Anyways, yeah, that's pretty fucking cool that you were able to do that for work. Like, you got paid to go and give people free shit.
Yeah, and support cancer.
And support cancer, of course. How could I forget? I'm so stupid. I'm sorry. I love you.
Stupid.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of things that aren't Kyle and Chris things still, because we do a lot of chill times and whatnot. Yeah, I can't think of anything else that you've done in your life that's worth mentioning right now.
I don't think there's ever been anything.
There were a couple. Remember those things that we just mentioned?
I don't know if those were worth anything.
They weren't worth much, but they reached some people, and you touched their hearts when you said that you support cancer.
All right, good.
So in Chris' life, thanks for asking. My friends are visiting from out of town. You used to be friends, but now you're not allowed to be. My friend Abby and her boyfriend Howard are visiting from Madison, Wisconsin, which is like a million billion miles from here. And they just swung by, said, hey, what up? I hung out with them one night, met them at this bar, and Fear Factor was playing on the TVs. So we watched these fucking wrestlers climb a ladder on a spinning helicopter for charity.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah, it was great. And then as they started blending together like fish guts and different weird animal body parts and drinking it in this disgusting pig brain cocktail, we left because, fuck that noise.
Mm-hmm.
And we chilled at their friend's house and just had a mellow chill time. And then they convinced me to go see It Part 2 with them, even though I've already seen it.
Mm-hmm.
And I still stand by what I said. It's a fun-ass time. Ain't my favorite shit, but like, they did a pretty good job with the second half. Anyways, they convinced me to go see it by being like, well, what if I bought your ticket? And I'm like, sold. I'll go see it because I'm on call. So if I get called out, it's not my money I'm wasting. And
boom, roasted.
Whatever, we're all good. So I went to go see it. And as we were going, Abby's like, I'm actually in a negotiations class, so that shit is being put to work. I got you to come with us. And I'm like, actually, my whole plan from the start was to get you to pay for it, and I really wanted to see it again. So
I don't think offering something for free is something you need to learn in a negotiations class.
She learned it, and then she was like, well, I'm not doing well in the class.
That's fair.
So I thought that was a pretty good follow-up. And then I met up with him this morning just as a final...
Super early, right?
Yeah, pretty early for breakfast as a final hang sesh before work and before they leave. They're actually heading out of town tomorrow. But, I'm working. I work today, so we didn't have many opportunities to get together. And anyways, it was a really nice time. I had a lot of fun with them. And then... before our food even arrived at the table, I got called from being on call. I got called every fucking day that I was on call, and I don't understand how. It's never happened. I'm like, I get called once, maybe twice, but this is like fucking every single day I was on call. And fortunately, this one, I'm like, well, let's just see. And the dude's like, hey, I'm not sure what to do. My key's stuck in my door and I'm on my way to class and I can't be late. So I don't really know what to do. If you could please give me a call back and like either come and help or I don't know, just give me a call. And I'm like, fuck, I might need to actually leave. This is like a real ass thing where I would need to leave if this were happening. So I'm like, before I even call this dude back, I'm going to call our maintenance guy. And I called him. He was at work. And I'm like, hey, do you have time to go help out this apartment? Their key is stuck in their lock. And he's like, I'm on it. See you in an hour. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Woo! So I almost had to leave and give a hasty goodbye. Instead, I got to enjoy my breakfast and hang out with my boys. So it was a pretty good morning.
Props to Big T.
Dude, Big T hooking it up with that lock. Fixing whatever.
Where'd you guys go to breakfast?
We went to Sin of Cortez, which you guys might recognize from the Food Network. Guy Fieri's Drivers, Dine-Ins, and Dragons or whatever. He came to Chico after the campfire, and he went to a few places, and that's one of them. So if you do recognize it, well, there you fucking go. And if you don't recognize it, dude, me either. I don't even fucking know anything, so...
Wow, okay. That's a good advertisement for yourself.
You're welcome, everyone. So anyways, their whole gist is they want to have, like, delicious tasting, not processed, fresh kind of food is kind of the vibes I get from Sin of Cortez.
I feel like if you were a jerk, you'd call it like a hippie restaurant.
Yeah, it's a hippie restaurant for sure. It's that like...
So you are a jerk then.
It's that like hipster, vegan, gluten-free fucking
I really like it though.
It's
and that's
so
not
good.
me.
No, man, it's like for sure one of the best restaurants that promotes how like fresh and organic and shit stuff is.
And Guy Fieri.
Because when you walk in, there's a fucking
cutout
poster
of
board.
him.
Yeah, he's just hanging out like, "What up, fuckers?" And you're like, "Okay, Guy Fieri,
Welcome
all
to
right.
Drinings, Diners, and Dimes.
Thanks, mister." And they also don't let you pay with card, but they have like an ATM machine there, and you could pay with a check. And the whole thing is just like ancient history. Those hippie fuckers, you know.
Yeah, that'll teach them.
It was a fucking delicious breakfast.
What'd you get?
I got this like verde plate. I don't really remember what it was called, but it was like tortillas and beans and verde sauce and eggs and
I've had that. It's really good.
a bunch of shit. It was fucking delicious. I have a good time with that. Abby got some cinnamon pancakes or whatever, and they were delicious. And then Howard got a breakfast sandwich, which is also fucking delicious.
their breakfast
Honestly,
sandwich.
all of it's so good. Like,
Yeah.
you pretty much get anything. I didn't used to feel that way though. I've gotten some things from there, and they were just too not flavorful, just like very eh. And then
Okay.
10 years have gone by, and since then they have really improved their flavor.
Initially, they weren't super great.
Yeah, no, it took a while for them to grow on me, but everyone was really into it because of the health food craze, you know? And then they figured out their flavor and got everything right. So I'm really into it, but I always forget about it because I still have that, like, in the back of my head, I'm like, no, you don't like this because it was bad. Remember, it was bad. And then when somebody suggests, like, hey, we should go there, I get really hyped. I'm like, oh, I never go there. That's going to be fun. I like that.
That's usually where I go with my mom if we go to breakfast somewhere.
I've been with your mom.
I was
there.
like, didn't you go with us one time?
I was once with your mom.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. They also heard my drink order wrong. I ordered a white mocha. He brought me a regular mocha. That was on me for not saying it with an H. I just said white mocha, and he was like, got you mocha. I was like, fuck.
That sounds like his problem.
Yeah, but if I said white mocha, he would have been like, yeah, there's no mistake in it. That guy wants a mocha. And then I would have gotten a fucked up drink again. Because he just wanted to give me a mocha. He knew what I actually wanted and not what I thought I wanted. He just helped me out.
Okay.
He just helped me
All right,
out.
I get it.
He's a helpful man.
Yeah, okay.
You let him help me, Kyle. You back off. He's helping the fuck out of me right now.
I know what you want.
He knew it. He fucking knew what I wanted. Anyways, that's the newest, raddest shit. This week's been a pretty fucking whatever week. I already talked about getting my wisdom teeth out recently on the podcast. At this point, my mouth is feeling totally fine, and I'm eating like a regular ass boy. I invited Juan and Sierra. You might know them from the podcast. Over Juan and Sierra.
Oh, okay. I thought you'd said a different name, so.
That's my bad, dog. Yeah. Made some pulled pork sandwiches, and they were pretty dang enjoyable. I enjoyed them.
Nice.
Had a good time with them. I would definitely tweak some stuff for next time, like always with first recipes, but I never made pulled pork before. Man, it was a dang good time.
Nice.
I'm into it. I'm literally just thinking about anime while I'm staring at all my fucking figures back there, so I guess I can't think of much else.
I think that's what the podcast is about.
Yeah, but that's for like other parts of the podcast when we get into, hey, what kind of anime you been watching recently? Anything without me?
Nope.
All right, cool.
No, like not we're not doing it this year where I'm like, actually, yeah, I'm watching like I'm watching We Never Learn.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you were doing secrets.
I'm watching Quintuplets the third time. Yeah, I'm
man.
doing all that. No, nothing secrets this
Nothing's
time.
hitting ya. Yesterday I started watching. I've been really wanting to watch anime, but I'm not feeling like inspired to watch anything in particular lately. I just keep being like, oh man, this anime is so good. Oh man, that anime is so good. I want to rewatch that shit. Oh man, I want to do that. But then I can't commit to anything because I'm a big old bitch.
Yeah.
Finally, I decided to start rewatching March Comes In Like a Lion because Juan told me he recently started rewatching it, and they have it in English. We talked about it on our last episode of the podcast, and I was being a whiny bitch yesterday, just flipping through YouTube, doing goddamn nothing. And I'm like, I just want to watch some fucking stuff, and I don't know what to do. And I hit up Juan, and he's like, March Comes In Like a Lion. I'm like, genius. So anyways, I watched about 5 or 6 episodes of that. It's so good. And super fucking sad. Like,
yeah.
Whoo, I don't remember. Did you watch much with me?
Nope, I just listened to the podcast where you guys talked about it.
Yeah, man. So, yeah. I got to the episode where they reveal that his whole family got killed in a drunk driving accident. A drunk driver hit his parents and his little sister and killed them all.
Mm-hmm.
And it does a little flash, like he's watching the little girl who's like 4 or something, picked her up from school and is taking her back home, and they're having fun and it's a good time, and then her hat flies off, so he goes and chases the hat, and at that same time a dog starts chasing her around, and it's all goofy and fun. He's like, oh no, I gotta go help out, and the owner of the dog is like, no, come here, dog. It's a whole thing, and then he makes sure it's all good. And then as the girl she like stops running from the dog gets excited and like barks or something, and she gets scared and falls over, and she scrapes herself up a little bit, and he's like, oh, it's fine, I'll take you home. And she's crying or whatever, and as he's like bandaging her, he's holding her arm, and then he remembers holding his dead sister's arm when he was a kid, and I'm like,
one does.
Fuck, man. And then it just goes into the whole backstory about how he was raised by somebody else in his family. Yeah, he was raised by lions. Somebody else in his family who was like, hey man, you like shogi? And he was like, yeah, but he was just lying so that he could like get somebody to like look after him, because the rest of his family was being predatory as hell. And then it gives you the whole sad backstory of he's essentially I think it was a mockingbird, where the mother mockingbird goes and lays an egg in another bird's nest, and then like a blue jay will take care of that mockingbird until it becomes an adult.
Yeah.
Even when it gets bigger, it'll keep feeding it and stuff. Anyways, he was essentially saying that because his now siblings, in a way, he was outshining them with shogi, even though one was older than him and the other one's about his age. He was much more skilled and talented than they were. So the dad started treating him better than he treated his own children, and it just became a whole thing. And I'm like, fuck, man, this show is so good, but it's so damn dark. And now I want to watch more, but I'm also like scared because it's fucking sad, man.
Classic.
But it's so good, and it looks gorgeous. And I forgot about how cute that fucking 4-year-old is. Every time she gets excited about shit, she gets like stars and hearts in her eyes, but it like works. It looks like it's perfect. And when you can like think about it, it does not sound like it looks good. Then when you see it, you're like, oh yeah, that works. That child is adorable. And I feel like that's a real face, even though it's totally fake. It's great.
Could have been a real face.
Could have been.
You've never been to Japan.
I don't know if I have or not. How do you know?
Come on.
Okay. Yeah,
come on.
You're right. I don't know why I even asked. You're right. You know, when you're right, you're right. And then I finished up the last episode of Dr. Stone that they have before next season or next cour or whatever. Spoilers for Dr. Stone really quick. He made antibiotics. So he finally made antibiotics.
He did it.
The whole reason for that is the princess of this little town he finds is sick, and he can make antibiotics to make her better. So he went through a whole process of a bunch of shit. He finally did it, and now he has a ton of different chemicals he could use to do other shit in his conquest for science.
Yep.
It's all right. I'm having fun with it, but not like you fucking need to see this kind of fun. We'll talk more about why I'm having that kind of fun with it in a couple of weeks here.
And the season recap.
Because we're going to be doing, for anyone that's curious how we're doing episodes next. Well, on Wednesday, we're going to go see Rascal Does Not Dream of Dreamy Girl, which it aired originally, or it premiered at Anime Expo, but now it's doing across the nation. So if you're listening to this episode, go to your movie theater tonight. Hopefully you didn't miss it. If you did miss it, go to your movie theater tomorrow night and watch it in English. All these characters that you know and love now speak English. Don't worry, it's a normal thing. Just fucking do it. And enjoy Rascal Dreams of Dreamy Girl. And then the week after, we're going to do our season recap. I only have 5 shows to talk about, which is fine. I think Juan is going to have like 6 or 7 because he watches more, even though he doesn't like them that much.
That makes sense.
Anyways, we're doing that, and then we're gonna do the season summary. So we'll have a couple of episodes under our belts of most shows. I think the latest airing show is in it's October 25th, which is High Score Girl, and then before that's October 23rd, which is Chihayafuru season 3. Which, of course, we haven't been watching any of that. We tried to watch a little bit of it, and it was interesting. That's the game where there's like poetry, and you have to finish the poem on cards.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that thing?
Yeah, I remember that.
It looked really good. It was interesting. Just didn't commit to it.
Mm-hmm.
So they're on season 3 now. We're not going to cover those 2 in our season summaries, but everything else is going to be out by October 13th, which is going to be a blast.
I love doing that so much. I love the beginning of the new season.
It's fun. We got lots of time. Stuff is going to begin airing on today, Wednesday. So enjoy all of that, Amanes. We'll tell you how we like it in a bit. And I think that's all the anime that I've been watching recently, aside from what we've been watching, which last week, I talked about how we just finished up Sex Girls, as we lovingly call O Maidens in Your Savage Season, and Chaos Girls, which we lovingly call Wasteful Days of High School Girls.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I've literally never known what the actual name of it is.
I'm pretty sure it's High School Girls.
Is it?
It's called Wasteful Days, as like what most people talk about. Like they'll say, "Oh yeah, Wasteful Days," blah blah blah. I think it's Wasteful Days of High School Girls. Okay. Anyways, just talked about how we finished those, and I had a really good time with both shows. And there was a little bit more heart in the last couple episodes of those. And anyways, when we talk about the summary, of course, we'll talk about these shows in more detail. But then we just watched another episode of Copcraft. It's the last episode we are watching.
Yeah, seriously.
You could watch it on your own if you would like to, Kyle.
Nope.
But I'm fucking bunzo.
No.
Which we'll tell you more about next week, or in 2 weeks. And then there's, of course, Vinland Saga, which isn't over. And I think it's a very long manga series. I think it's been going on for a long ass time. So I don't know how long it's going to be. But this is for sure a 2-core kind of show right now. This last episode was really cool, actually. It was way calmer than other episodes. And it just had a lot of talking and a lot of exposition and some like more casual ideas about
Jesus.
Yeah, some cash Jesus talk. No, essentially it was just concepts of just things and their value was being talked about a bit. And then, of course, the priest has a different concept than all of these pillaging Vikings. Some are interested to hear about it. Others aren't. We also got to see, I don't think there was a single death up until the very end of the episode, which was a horse.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that was it.
That show's brutal to animals.
It is, man. But hey,
that's just what happens.
The animals have it coming. Have you seen what they're wearing? Not armor.
Yeah, they didn't buy the horse armor DLC.
Yeah, they should have bought fucking diamond armor. But no, they had to go and spend it on a prince or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. Yep. That's it.
Yep. But no, I really, really liked this episode because it felt different. It felt like it's giving the show an opportunity to go another direction right now versus just, we're going to keep pillaging and keep being violent and I want revenge. Oh, I know who your dad is. Like a whole bunch of that shit, you know?
There's a lot of
this
that.
is instead, yeah, we're just being super smart boys doing super smart things. We're being attacked. So it's pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
That's anime, dog. That's anime talk. We're done with the anime talk. We're done.
Never going to talk
No
about
more,
it again.
no more anime. We're it. So I think we should get into the news.
Yeah.
Do you have any fun pieces of news before I get into mine? I'm pretty sure you don't, but
Wow. Okay.
I know I'm
Just
being.
assuming I don't have any anime news whatsoever.
It's because you're white.
This next season, we got the next season of My Hero Academia coming out. Really excited for this one.
What day?
Get your britches on, boys.
What day, just for everyone?
October 8th.
No.
Sounds like you have the wrong information. This is my news.
That's your news.
Everyone stay tuned October 8th. Get out your Crunchyroll because that's what it's on. And they're starting with dubs. You got to wait for the subs.
Yeah.
They're starting with that, though. The first episode is entirely a recap. All right, go ahead and take it away with your news.
All right, so it is on Crunchyroll on October 12th.
I fucking knew it.
But it's not a recap. I have seen the first episode, and
You saw what you thought was the first episode.
shit, they tricked me. Anime Expo tricked me again. Funimation, you sons of bitches. I watched it in English though, so it's gonna be like watching a whole new show when they show me the first episode in Japanese. So pretty excited about that. It's gonna be rad. So into actual news, you dumb bitch. I actually tweeted out on the Instant Ramen podcast Twitter all of the different shows with their air dates for this season. So if you do want to keep up and follow along, you could actually watch everything wherever it's at. It doesn't have it listed where it's airing, but there is a little infographic that has each date that each show airs. So check that out. Kyoto Animation announced that they received 2.6 billion yen in donations. They also thank all the people around the world and the various organizations for helping. So all of the donations are going to the victims for recovery. It's not just going to the company. It's specifically to the victims that were affected by the arson.
Good.
Those of you that are not in the loop yet, Kyoto Animation was attacked by an arsonist, and it's been a long, ongoing recovery from that. But they are persevering, and they're still animating and still working on all their projects. A couple of things got slightly delayed because they weren't happy with the quality. And they are giving huge support to everyone that was affected. 2.6 billion yen is about like 30,000, a little bit less than 30 million dollars, US dollars. Just as a heads up for people that don't know the conversion. So I think that's fucking awesome news. I figured I would start it out with some uplifting news.
Nice, and then drop it right back down.
And then go into something that neither of us care about yet, but maybe one day we will. And lots of people really fucking care about this shit. So Demon Slayer has a new movie that has been announced. Wow. Yeah, so essentially the movie's called Kimetsu no Yaiba, The Infinity Train Arc. It's going to adapt the Demon Train arc of the series, and it's going to be a direct sequel for the first season.
It's cool.
So
I like when a movie does that.
We're about to do the same thing when we go see Rascal Does Not Dream of Dream a Girl. Pretty excited about that. But so yeah, get excited about that. They haven't announced a date, of course, but they're doing some more training, and I feel like he's just training the whole show, so it's like a true ass shonen.
It's the most shonen.
Hey, speaking of shonens, have you been watching Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon Season 2? Because you can be, and you can follow it up soon with Season 3, which was just announced.
I might, because I did watch the entire first season, but it also kind of sucked at the same time, which I get that. See, that one I'm going to apologize if I offended someone, because that's not the trash show I watched. I did watch it, and I was like, this is fine, I guess.
It's fun. It had a little bit too much ecchi for me to care about anything. But it was fun. It was all right. Season 2, from what I understand, Juan will let me know for sure next week because his opinions are always super true to everyone else in the world's.
100%.
Always, never wrong. People don't tend to be enjoying season 2 as much. The quality has dropped, is what people are saying.
I hate that.
Yeah, so season 3, people are really hoping that they kind of kick up the quality because they still are really enjoying the show and they love it so much, but they want it to be as good as season 1 was for them, which is a really hard thing to accomplish for a lot of TV shows. Sorry, a lot of animes. TV shows, I feel like, grow with you in certain ways. Like if you're just watching live action stuff, mostly because you feel like you're a part of that cast. But it's a little bit harder with anime that's like so far removed. First off, it's animation, so it's a little bit harder to connect for some people. Second off, it's a fantasy world. And third off, they're doing shit that like nobody would ever do. Meanwhile, people love fucking watching Friends because they're just like, it's like people. I'm people, you know,
it's like
and then
people
they kind of keep going
on my television.
Yeah, man. And then, you know, it goes through ups and downs or whatever. But season 2, not as great. Season 3, hopefully better than both. That's what they're saying. They're saying this third season is going to be nonstop good stuff. Okay. Everyone in the world's going to like it. Is what they're saying.
Okay, well, I guess I got to keep up. I mean, you know, some really great shows have bad seasons.
All right, so now I'm going to kick it down like a big notch.
I don't think I can lower this chair anymore.
So Kazuko Nakamura was one of the first people to animate in Japan, one of the first anime artists. She passed away at the age of 86. So as tradition with the show, we're going to give a moment of silence. All right. So she has worked on a bunch of big things that people actually know. Astro Boy, Princess Knight, 1001 Nights. She's been a part of a lot of those huge classic projects that really founded what we have today. So it's a sad thing to see a legend like that pass on, of course. Yeah. Pretty cool, though, that she was able to contribute so much in her life, which is so much more than either of us will ever accomplish.
That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I'm not doing shit with my life. What am I doing? I'm just fucking collecting anime figures. That's it. That's all that I do.
Yeah, that's all you do.
There's going to be a third season of Taru Sorry, let me just make sure I can say all this. I'm a dumb boy with a dumb mouth that doesn't
maybe you
do
just
works.
Want to, like, take a break.
Taru Kagaku. That's hard to say when you've never said it. Taru Kagaku no Railgun Season 3 is going to premiere in January 2020. So that's Scientific Railgun Season 3, I think.
Okay.
Something like that.
I totally know that show.
That's exciting for the people that love those shows. It's been going on for a while. It's like another Scientific Railgun. I don't know. I'm not familiar with them. People are hyped as hell. They're like light novels, spin-offs, woo, let's go. Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's also that like Scientific Codex one or something.
I know nothing about it.
Index, that's what it is.
Oh, Certain Magical Index?
May or may not be related in some way or another.
You never know with anime.
I think it's one of those.
Sometimes people are just cooking and then it's a Fate spinoff. You're like, what the fuck? Where do these people come from?
It's something I'm not familiar with. I don't know much. That's for damn sure.
If there's anything I know, it's nothing.
All right, guys. You remember Pyscho-Pass? They've had a couple of seasons. A third one's been announced. You guys know what I'm talking about. Shit's going to air, I believe, this October. Season 3 is going to have 1 hour long episodes. So
damn.
They've been doing 30 minutes or, 22 for
regular show.
Regular ass show. This is going to be more like a 45 minute, hour long show. So that's a fucking big deal.
Okay.
I think it's pretty cool that they're mixing it up that much and being like, yeah, we're going to go hard this season. We're going fucking hard, boys. It's cool. I'm down with it.
If there's anything I'm down for, some hard boys.
That's true. That's true. You always are. And then in a super fun piece of news, I
didn't like that face.
It's fine. Last week, Juan and I talked a little bit about the UN banning underage child representations in anime and shit like that, right?
Yeah.
So Japan has officially pronounced their feelings on the new controversy of banning lollies that the UN put out.
Okay, we all know what that is because we're listening to an anime podcast.
Exactly. Essentially, they said that if anything is represented that insinuates pedophilia, child trafficking, child abuse, eroticism, with any childlike characteristics of any fake characters, regardless of gender, species, anything like that, it can't be pornographic at all, no matter what. No, you can't do that shit. Fuck you. Meanwhile, I'm like, I mean, yeah, like, I get it. But on the other hand, it's not real. And it's not like they're essentially banning anything that's like provocative with underage people. Not like children, but we're talking about we would not be able to enjoy sex girls at all. It would straight up be illegal to watch Oh Maidens in Your Savage Season because characters get into provocative sexual situations that we don't see and nothing is acted upon. Spoilers, sorry guys, but
nobody fucks. And that's good.
It is
that's
good.
A good
it's
thing.
In that show, it's a very good thing. But could you imagine if we didn't get that show? Because that show was so well done.
I'd be pretty bummed out.
It would be so fucking bummer. But anyways, so Japan decided to say some shit about the UN saying, hey, no.
What are you, some kind of group of nations that can tell other nations what to do? No. That's what they said.
More or less, they said, fuck you, we're doing it anyways. And more so, it was more so like
I would like to get an actual quote.
There's not like a real quote because it's a big old fucking block of text that I could read, but it's all like, as a nation, but like, inciting this and within that there. Anyways, they essentially said that's really hard to enforce. There's no fucking way you could enforce that. We're not going to change anything.
Works with me.
Yep. And the United States also said the same shit, but also the United States pretty much already does whatever the fuck they want because we're a goddamn travesty right now.
Yep.
If anyone's been paying attention to the news, you'll know. I don't feel like going into that because
we're not
an anime podcast and we're not, but
you don't do that here.
Just look at, fucking the treasonous acts of 1918 if you ever wanted to have an idea of what is happening with the United States ever. It's always the treasonous acts of 1918.
George Washington chopping down that cherry tree should have gotten impeached.
God dang. Hey, on some lighthearted news.
Yep.
Yeah. The producer of Fire Force has confirmed that the second cour is going to begin with episode 15 on November 1st.
Oh, thank God. I needed more Fire Force.
As y'all know, animes typically are like 12, 13 episodes in their first cour.
Mm-hmm.
So 15 is a little bit off characteristic. All that means is that we're going to start another story arc and we're going to get a new intro. That's 2 cour, baby. Unless they decide to be fucking weird and keep the same intro like some shows do, like Hunter x Hunter.
Like lazy bitches.
Well,
lazy bitches.
They just keep the same song, I guess, but they change up some stuff. And same with the outro. That's all the news I have for today.
Okay, I said my news too.
Did you like all of the news? I made it for you.
I guess it was all right.
It was all right. It was fine.
It's passable.
There was good. There was bad. Overall, I'm looking for a pretty good. It's all right.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about something that's not all right?
Oh boy, I sure would.
It's a little show called Isekai Cheat Magician by the studio Encourage Films. They've done things that people love, such as Hitorijime, My Hero, and Etotama, as well as Senki Zesshou, Symphogear. I don't know if you watched it with me, but I for sure watched the first episode of Hitorijime, My Hero.
Which one was that?
This dude is friends with another dude who's got an earring, and they were walking home from school, and there was some bullies and stuff. He's got like an older brother that's a big old buff guy, and they're bros. It was on Amazon.
That doesn't sound familiar.
All right, it doesn't matter. We didn't watch it for sure. Anyways. Isekai Cheat Magician, we talked about it about 12 episodes ago. It's more or less another isekai, but they just stopped giving a fuck.
They didn't start.
Well, I mean, when isekais were around, they were like, we gotta make like a cool plot, and then Sword Art Online came up with a cool plot point of rape. Just it's rape. Every episode is just rape, and that was a really cool plot point.
Was that ever? What Sword Art Online were you watching?
Well, it starts out and they're like, you know how people die in the game and then they die for real? Yeah, bad news. And then you're like, oh man, that is bad news. And then that story arc was resolved, and then every other one turned into,
I mean, I guess you're right.
I'm gonna rape this girl, and you're like, whoa, hang on a second. The second story arc here, I don't really know about you. And then that wrapped up, and you're like, oh man, good thing. And then the next one was like, we're gonna rape this girl, and you're like, no, guys, come on. And they did that a couple more times. And the most recent story arc was, we're gonna rape these girls. Oh like, come on, guys. And then they had to censor the episode. It was that bad.
What the fuck?
Actually, what they censored was when this guy was trying to stop it. And of course, spoilers for Sword Art Online for those of you that are still watching it or intend on watching it. I am actually going to spoil a big plot point really quick. So
I'll make a funny noise when the spoiler's over, so you know when to tune back in.
That's fine. So, anyways, main character guy who's not Kirito, it's the blonde kid. He's trying to stop the rape from happening in game, and he keeps getting like an error message that's saying like, hey man, you can't fucking do anything anymore because they've hacked the game or whatever the fuck excuse it is. And then he overcomes the hacking, and his eye that's telling him like, hey, no, it can't happen, fucking explodes. And it was graphic enough that they put a black bar over it, and they didn't want to show people that. But they were totally fine showing him chop off people's hands and legs that were trying to rape these two girls.
Okay.
It was a wild time. So Then they released it uncensored.
Oh.
It didn't look much worse than the hands being chopped off, but
Makes sense. Is that the end of the spoiler?
There was lots of blood. That's the end.
Wow. All right, welcome back.
It's like a slightly Mario-ass thing. I like it.
I guess, yeah. That's what we could. So anyways, back to what we were talking about.
Yeah, so after the whole story arcs were trying to give a point, then they had like a new thing they wanted to do. Isekai Cheat Magician came along, and they were like, what if we didn't care? And then they just stopped caring the whole time. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what's the story? Who's the guy? Who's the girl? There are two characters in the whole show.
All right. So I'm not gonna. You know what? I won't be as hard on this one as I am the other shows.
Why?
Just because this one's just like a lack of anything good, but it's not like.
Well, the main reason that we gave it to you is because it was so just like, ugh, why? And also, this horse changed sizes like 100 times, but that wasn't a plot point. That was just a bad animation point.
It only gets better.
I want you to be hard on the animation. You don't have to be hard on other stuff if you don't want to be.
I'm just hard.
You're hard as hell, dog.
All right, so with
You're
that,
like Kevin fucking what's his name in Get Hard.
Yep.
Kevin.
I'm not gonna tell you.
Man. Kevin Smith.
All right, so with that preface out of the way, fuck this show. Sucks.
Yeah.
It's just like a
heart.
It's one of those things. There you go. It's just one of those things that you decide to watch because you like things that aren't good.
Or you just want to see every isekai there's ever been.
That kind of is the same person.
It completely is, yeah.
It doesn't have anything that makes not even just an isekai, just a good show. So we got Lad, Takashi, I think that's his name.
Takashi, okay.
No, Takashi. Black hair protagonist guy who's not particularly good at anything. Walking down the street with his best friend / girl that obviously wants to smooch his face, Rin.
Okay. She wants to munch his butt.
She does want to munch his butt.
Just had to make sure.
Mm-hmm. They're just walking down the street one day, going to school. big magic circle appears around him. He's like, oh my god, it's a big magic circle. I've read about this in books and video games and anime and other shit.
I've seen this literally everywhere in social media.
I'm not going to ruin her life. And he shoves her
out of the circle?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's like, I'm not going anywhere without my best homie, and like dives back into the circle, and they both get teleported to another world.
Oh, they get isekai'd.
Who would have thought?
Not me.
They appear in the new world, and they get attacked by a big black horse. It's like a black unicorn. I forget what they call it. I think they just call it a big horse or something. They call it a horse.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a nightmare. And they're like, it's a big horse.
Yeah, we were like, oh, cool, nightmare. And they're like, it's a bad
horse. It's bad horse.
It's bad horse. No, yeah, it was a really stupid name, and we're like,
and
it could have been literally anything, but okay.
The animation for the show is worse than the sister show, My Sister, My Writer, whose writers gave up. Mm-hmm. It's worse than that.
What?
They just didn't try.
I also feel like it's important at this point, now that we've said enough about, the show, that you have an idea of what. Anyways, if you want to go on to Crunchyroll's popular section, this is in the top 10. I think this is in the top 5 or something like that. Most popular shows on Crunchyroll right now.
Yeah, like any of the shows I've had to watch, I have to like go to the search function. This one's just on the front page.
How in the fucking world?
So
just how?
So what progresses in the show is what you've seen a billion times. He has unbelievable power beyond anything anyone's ever seen before.
What's the catch, Kyle?
He fucking sucks at it.
Oh no. That's the catch.
They're like, you
bad.
They're like, you have the most magic ever. Your friend girl has a lot less magic than you, but she has more magic than most magic people. You're both powerful. And they're like, this kid could overthrow entire empires. He could enslave the world. And he's like, I don't know how to manifest it. And so they go to Big Titty Wizard to have...
There's always got to be a big titty girl.
To have her teach them how to use magic. And he only knows how to manifest the magic to enhance him punching. Which is like kind of my shit, but not when it sucks ass.
Yeah.
So like he just learns how to glow and punch hard. Whereas...
That's cool.
His friend is fucking cool.
Yeah, what's she got?
Because like an elf girl is teaching her how to use her magic. Mm-hmm. She's like, all right, so we're going to start out with fire spells. So making fire spells, you got to hold out your hand. You got to imagine fuel burning fire. It's like watching, be like, bah, there you go. See, it's like wood burning fire. And the girl's like, oh, let me try it. And just does it like instantly. She's like, yeah, I get it. Because she's smart. She's a smart girl. She's like, well, what if I imagined it being like propane or like fuel? And she like creates like a cool blue fire jet. And the elf's like, what the fuck is that? How'd you do that? She's like, I just imagined different kind of fuel for a fire. And so...
Hang on. Can I just, for a second?
You fuel your fire,
Okay, that was it.
God, the Metallica.
Yeah,
So the girl's really smart. So she's like coming up with ways to like put magic together and stuff. And she's like, well, you taught me like how to use wind sword. What if I use lightning bolt and wind sword to make lightning sword? And I was like, what?
You can't do that.
I was like, how the fuck did you do that?
That's illegal. That's insane.
And fucking kids just like, I'm punch.
When you punch, you gotta punch good.
He's the character that doesn't have a personality other than Ike from Smash Bros. Who says, I fight for my friends and eats eat food.
I just really like the distinction between Ike from Fire Emblem and Ike from Smash Bros.
I mean, Ike from Fire Emblem has like 8 times as much dialogue, maybe more.
But from Smash Bros, you're like, yeah, I fight for my friends. Yeah.
And we like him sometimes.
We like Ike.
So they fight some monsters and they learn how to magic, and then they go to the city and then become official adventurers, and then there's like an assassination subplot, and then they beat that, and then they go to the castle and the capital, and they're like, oh, but I'm gonna spoil whatever the fuck I want out of this show. So if you plan on watching it, I don't know why you're listening.
I feel like these episodes are always just, hey man, spoil it for me, and then I'll judge for myself.
Also, if you're planning on watching the show, why are you listening to this? All I'm gonna do is talk badly about it.
Yeah.
So, and then they find out that there's a civil war. They gotta stop the civil war because one group wants magic and the other group wants magic, but a different magic.
Okay.
The show is so magical. It's like
It's the Disneyland of anime.
I really dislike high fantasy. Like super high fantasy. Where it's like magic's just like commonplace. Like, oh, hold on, I'm a blacksmith. I'm gonna go light my fire with a little fire spell. Like I like it when magic's special.
I like when everyone's magic, but it has to be done well, and it's like never done well.
Like the kingdom they're in, there's like, we're in the kingdom that has the most magicians in the entire world. Everybody's a magician. The king's a magician. We have like 18 court magicians. And you guys are also magicians, and we need your help stopping civil war. And they find out the princess summoned them, and she's really, really fucking sorry about it. She's like, we just needed help, and now I summoned you guys, and now I feel bad because I can't send you home, and you're stuck here forever, and you should probably kill me for it. And they're like, what? What the fuck? Okay, we'll try and help you out, but try and send us back somehow.
So, hang on. They're arguing over different kinds of magic that should exist, and they're doing this. Why do they side with the princess?
Because they were the ones that were nice to them, I guess.
It's literally they were nice to them.
Like it's literally
just
like
making sure that they were good people, and it wasn't just like boring. Like, oh man, we summoned you. Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was like the king is the current ruler, and he thinks that people should have. He likes democracy, and his brother, who's also a king wizard, is starting the civil war, and he thinks democracy bad.
Oh no! Yep, I see. I understand now. Democracy bad, democracy good.
And they find out that he wasn't to blame. There's some lady underground. This is the final. I'm spoiling the final episode.
Genius! Fuck, that's smart. There's an underground lady.
The underground lady is
the whole time.
Yep, the whole time.
It's genius.
There's an underground lady, and she's like, I started this war because I'm trying to bring back the bloody rhapsody. And they're like, what's that? And like, well, like 200 years ago, there was a war that engulfed the entire kingdom. And then for some reason, at the same time, every soldier in the world turned into a zombie. And they killed, I think the casualties were estimated at 500,000 people. And she's trying to do that again. And then he beats it. He shoots the spell and then stops it.
Wow.
And then they're like, we did it. We saved the town.
And Mr. Krabs.
And Mr. Krabs. They also got the crown. And then like the end of the episode, or the end of the last episode, Lady Underground's like, I knew it. He was the most powerful wizard. He will be important in the upcoming days. And you're like, okay, show's over, I guess.
Season 2 when?
The animation was just so bad.
So wonky tonk.
Anytime there was an action scene, they would cut away from it and show the reaction, or if there was like big effects, they just make it blurry. Like it's like the difference between John Wick, where they do one big wide shot of the action, and then like a Marvel movie where like someone throws a punch and then it shows the other guy, he's like, ah. And then it like does that a bunch, so they don't actually have to film anybody doing anything strenuous, or that revolves any kind of interesting skill that's like that, but animation.
You even pay attention to the Resident Evil chick? Sorry to go off on a tangent.
With her arm get cut off?
Yeah.
Sort of.
So like a couple of weeks ago, it was announced that she's going to be suing the director of the Resident Evil movies. She is a stunt woman that's worked on a bunch of different films, and she's worked on each of the Resident Evil action flicks. Because they're not horror, they're fucking action. Anyways, the stunt that she was required to do, it started out as supposed to be a fight scene, and it was choreographed, and she already knew what she was supposed to do. That scene got changed into the scene where she's on a motorcycle, and she's supposed to drive towards a camera, and the camera is set to lift automatically when she gets close to it, and it would have been a cool shot of her zooming up to a camera, and it lifts, and whatever. But honestly, there's so much goddamn jump cuts and CG in those movies that there's absolutely no purpose for it. And they probably weren't even going to use that fucking actual shot anyways. And then that's what caused her to crash. And then her arm atrophied and she had to decide to like cut it off and stuff.
Cool.
And anyways, fucking stupid shit. Why can't you just make it blurry like the goddamn rest of the world with anime Resident Evil?
Anyways, the show's also like a harem light, like a light harem, because
it's like, yeah, I want to fuck that dude, but like only like over the clothes stuff.
Each main character gets their ladies. So Takashi gets his best friend, who clearly is just down the whole time. He's like, "Oh, you were best friends.
Yeah,
best friends for life."
They are.
And then like the general of the army was like, "We won't trust you unless we have a duel," and he beats her, and she's like, "I'm serious, fuck me like right now." And he's like, "Nope, that's not gonna happen."
Yeah, no.
And then he also
you just gotta fuck when you gotta fuck.
And then he's also got the princess, who's like, "Man, you sure are great saving our kingdom and everything."
What if we did a slam?
And then big titty wizard she doesn't like him. She's just like, "Nice job, kid." So then I'm actually rather impressed that they had at least one character that wasn't like, "That guy's got a dick for miles. I'm ready for that." She's just like, "You're good at wizard. Good job, kid."
You know, I've noticed that's kind of a big titty wizard trope.
Yeah.
Is that she's always just, "I'm the smart one who's kind of mysterious.
Yep.
Look at my giant boobs for some reason. I'm really confident that I could get anyone, so I don't need to fuck the main character."
But then
Goblin Slayer.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Then the girl
Overlord.
The girl gets her characters. The elf girl that teaches her kind of has a crush on her.
Yeah?
Just cuz. And then
who wouldn't?
In the second to last episode, there's an evil barbarian lady who's a mercenary.
Her. Oh, that's smart.
And she's like, "I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you, girl main character." And she's like, "No." And they fight each other, and then everybody turns into zombies. And she's like, "We can't fight each other. We should fight the zombies, but we shouldn't kill them because they're people too." And then
spoiler: zombies aren't people.
And then barbarian's like, "You all right, babe?" So it's like this like weird kind of like it's just like everyone just kind of like blushes when they look at each other, and other than like the "you beat me in a duel, get up right in my guts" moment. That wasn't like any like sexy jokes or anything. So it was like a light harem, but like not like a good one like the quintuplets show, because that's a good one. Like it's wholesome. This is just like, wait, did you want me to care about any of the characters?
Well, yeah, because when you don't put any effort into anything else, then how are you going to how do you get somebody to care about these relationships that were hardly formed? That just how, man?
Let me tell you,
how do they get away with that?
Let me tell you about the best part where they tried to get you to care about somebody.
Who is it?
There's an assassin girl that tries to kill him.
That sounds cool.
And he beats her up.
Mm-hmm.
And then because of that, she comes back and she's like, "Hey, remember me? You kicked the shit out of me. I was the assassin." He's like, "Assassin?" She's like, "No, I'm not doing that anymore. Do you want to be friends?" It's the everybody's favorite anime trope. Girl that tries to kill you, you beat her up and then be nice to her, and then she wants to fuck you. Mm-hmm. People like that one. So that's her. She's like, "Man, this guy treats me so well." And he's like, we're friends. So he's friend zoning the shit out of her. And then goblins attack the city, and they work together to stop the goblins.
Makes sense.
And then near the middle of the show, they're having a war with monsters, and some wizard cast a spell on her to mind control her to mindlessly walk out into the battlefield where the main character's fighting a two-headed dragon.
Now she's in danger.
She just like walks out in front of him. She's like, "Oh, where am I?" He's like, "What are you doing here?" She's like, "I don't know. There's a magic spell." And the dragon just shoots her with a laser beam and she dies.
Been there, man.
That's the only character that dies.
And
at that point, that's when the main character finds his purpose that he's never gonna let anyone he cares about die ever again, and he's gonna harness his powers to the fullest potential because this girl died.
Friends never die.
Another thing I wanted to talk about with the show is that it can't decide whether or not it wants to be like a gritty isekai or just like the fun kind.
So parts of it, they're just like, check out how dark and fucking look at this brutality.
For like the first half of the show is just like, look how much fun it is.
Yeah, it looks like it was going to be some bullshit isekai.
We're going to be isekai, and he's the strongest, and he's going to be the best he's ever been. All the ladies are going to love him.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh my god, an army of goblins is going to attack the city. What are we going to do? And he's like, we got to fight the goblins. And the main character with assassin girl, who's now his friend, goes underground to find two little magical girls with a magical orb. They're like, we summoned the goblins. We're the bad guys. And then they literally just said, the goblins are going to rape every woman in town. And I'm like, wait, hold on. Back it up.
It's just what joblins do.
It is Japan. Apparently that's what they do.
In Japan, joblins do the raping.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, that seemed a little bit out of pace for the show.
And then it wasn't.
And then it goes back to being fun again.
Oh, okay.
And then like 2 episodes later, some guy gets his head like sliced off and it's like blood everywhere. I'm like, what? Hold on. And then it's fun again.
Yay.
It keeps doing that where it's like, wait, what kind of show are you?
So a lot of
what kind of guy are you?
Yeah, what kind of guy are you? A lot of parts of the show just seem like they were inconsistent with the rest of it. Like, trying to force relationships or some kind of a love interest suddenly. The rapid switch between violence and darker themes and lighthearted fun. The animation being
there wasn't
just
any
completely inconsistent, where they want to show you cool stuff, but instead they don't show you anything.
The intro has incredibly good animation, so you know they can do it. They just chose not to.
Yeah.
The song sucks.
How many times did you watch it?
Every time.
Nice.
I think it's by the same people. It's by the same people that do the Overlord intros, I think, and it's terrible.
Huh.
It's such an unpleasing sound.
I don't even remember the difference between the Overlord intros and outros. Can you remind me? Is the one that I really like on Beat Saber that I'm feeling very, very happy,
those are the intros.
Very, very weird. Yeah, that one's fun. I love them. And they do the Isekai one?
I think so. It sounds very familiar.
That's some wacky tobacco, dog. I don't know. I don't know.
The biggest problem of the show is a huge problem I have with a lot of animes and the most of the ones we watch. And I mention it to you all the time. I call it not earning it.
Yeah.
Where they have these moments where I know exactly what the show wants me to feel, but it didn't earn it. Where like, so at one point they're like, the reason you're such a powerful wizard is because you're a summoner. Just like stupid, unimportant RPG terms that they force into these shows.
Whatever.
We're just Class C adventurers.
Yeah.
Like, you're a summoner. And he's like, I don't know what that means.
Oh my God.
Like, so
you're
like
rank 27.
Like your friend knows how to use magic, but you use magic by summoning spirits, and spirits are the most powerful thing in the universe. And what you have to do to get more powerful is you got to get spirits. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be like Avatar. Because they keep talking about it's wind, and it's fire, and it's water, and it's earth. Those are the 4 kinds of magic.
There's a 5th. It's fists.
I mean, that's always an option.
Yeah.
But so they're like, you gotta learn, you gotta get spirits and summon them. So I thought the show was gonna be him summoning all the spirits.
Yeah, it was gonna be Yokai Watch.
Kind of early in the show, he gets a wind spirit named, I don't remember. She's like a naked little fairy girl with little like ribbons over her bits.
Yeah, that sounds pretty.
But she's
sure.
But at no point is she ever sexualized. It's just her appearance.
That's just
which is fine with me. And she's a wind spirit, and so he only knows wind magic.
Okay.
But he doesn't use. He summons tornadoes sometimes, and it has no effect on anything. It's just like part of the show.
You're like,
and then he punches.
Yeah, it's
something.
tornado time. You're like,
Yeah, he just
Is it Isekai Why?
And so she's there the whole time, and I don't know. You're supposed to like her, I guess. She just her role is essentially to tell him not to do things. Like some evil guy's like, I want to fight you, but it's not equal because you're too powerful. For it to be an honor duel, you have to put all of your powers in this dark, glowing object. And he's like, yeah, that sounds... Yeah, and she's like, don't do... Oh, no, his name's Taichi. That's his name.
Taichi?
I just remembered her saying it over and fucking over.
I remember when we watched it, I was like, is this Digimon? Because Taichi is the name of Tai.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just
Digimon.
Over and over and over. He's just like, no, don't do it. He's like, I gotta honor duel this guy. Put all my powers in this orb. But it's just, she's just there to tell him not to do things and to give him her wind powers. And then at the end of the show, where he's like, I'm not gonna let any of these zombies hurt my friends.
And then
she's like,
he slams down.
She's like, dude, that's what I've been waiting for.
Hell yeah.
And he's like, what are you talking about? She's like, I didn't show you my true form because I was worried you weren't the right guy, but now I know you're the guy, so I'm gonna disappear. And he's like, don't go,
because she's like, a dumbass.
She's like, I'm going away, and you have to just call my name to summon my true form. And he's like, I'm not gonna be human anymore. And she rises up into the sky. And she's like, you know my true name, and floats up into the sky. And I'm like, I don't know her true name. It's never been mentioned at any point.
He's like, wind.
I mean, he
tornado girl.
Her name's like Sylph or something. He's like, Sylph. And Big Titty Wizard's like, oh my god, the spirit he had to... Because you know I love exposition.
Oh my god, so much.
Big Titty Wizard was like, oh my god, that little wind fairy was actually the like queen of the queen elemental god spirit of wind. And she's like, it's me, Sylph. I'm literally the most powerful wind creature in the universe, and I've been with you the whole time. And you are the right dude who wants to protect his friends. And he shoots his fist and he punches the magic in the sky, and nobody's zombies anymore. I like how the show ends really...
Okay.
The show ends really happily,
oh, goodness.
And then like the last shot is them beheading the other king who started the Civil War. It's like, we did it, we saved the town, and it's just like, do you have any last words? He's like, I have no regrets. So they just cut his head off. And then the lady's like, what are you gonna do? He's like, I don't know, I gotta find who this underground lady is. That's it.
Damned. Huh.
It was so bad.
Badass, probably, is what you meant to say, but you didn't.
It was, again, it's not like one of these, this show, I'm not at a loss as to who it's for. You know, I'm always asking, who the fuck is this show for?
This one's a little bit more like, it's for people that just fucking like isekai and magic shit, but it's not for like anybody that likes complicated real ass shit. It's for somebody who's not that familiar with anime, but is so fucking down, who's like 13 years old.
Yeah, like this, well, I don't know about 13 years old though.
12, 11.
Like I, you know, I won't call you out on it, but you like this show if you literally have like 12 hours a day of free time and all you want to do is watch anime. You don't like video games, you don't like reading books, you don't do any modeling, painting, artwork, storytelling.
You just watch your anime.
Hang out with your friends.
You just
watch anime all day, every day, and you're like, man. And like you said, I'm like, I'm fresh out of Isekai, and this is one. I have to watch it, knowing full well that it just sucks. The voice acting isn't good. The Foley sound effects aren't even good.
Yeah, no good punch sounds.
It's just all of it. Barely makes sense.
But you made it through, man. You watched all of it.
I always make it through.
Yeah, you did.
The hardest one was the last one, though.
Yeah, the last one was just so...
Buddha Boys?
Yeah.
That was
you know, there are parts of it that are like, oh, this could be cool from the first episode, and then it turned into, oh, God.
Yeah.
What is happening?
If it were a serious show, it would have been good, but it's just mostly boys hanging out, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah, man. When boys gotta hang, they gotta hang. And fortunately for Isekai Cheat Magician, boys ain't gotta hang. They gotta kill for no apparent reason other than democracy rules, dog.
Yeah, it was just... Man. It's just devoid of anything that makes anything special.
What do you want next season?
What do I want?
Because we've given you pretty much every kind of anime there is so far. We haven't really given you a we haven't given you a real shoujo, but I feel like shoujo aren't typically as
Shoujo
bad
is
as
girl,
shonen.
right?
Yeah.
Have I watched any of them?
Not really, because shoujo, like Fruits Basket's a shoujo,
Ooh,
but Fruits Basket's like good.
I didn't like it.
Well, it's not for you. But it's not bad.
That's true. You're right.
There is a very specific kind of person that it's for, and it's for most people that just like that like relationship shit.
I mean, if there was if there was a really bad shoujo, sure.
I don't know if there's ever been one that's like, hey, this is the fucking worst. Also, please comment or something saying if there is the fucking worst shoujo. I'm not familiar with all anime, just like hundreds. So
yeah.
I don't know everything.
Just like most of it.
Just like almost all of it, except for that one show that you're gonna say.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to let's see. Well, I've hit so many of them at this point.
Yeah,
I haven't watched a bad sports anime yet. Have I?
No, I don't think so.
No.
But I feel like with sports anime, they're always just like generic and okay. If that one show that was a spin-off of like a video game where they played sports, I think it was baseball or something in that episode.
I don't know what you're
It
talking
was on High Dive, and it was really fucking... We were like, what is this? And it was like, it's my Namco. And we're like, what the fuck is this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was like the samurais, but they were in school.
Sexy fight boys.
Yeah, but they like played... I think it was baseball.
It was baseball, but they're like coming up with their own rules for it and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like something like that is the level that it has to get to in order for you to watch it. I feel like sports shows are like never that bad because it's always sports, and I definitely know people just like sports shows, man.
How long has it been since I watched a bad sexy show? What was before? What was before Buddha Boys?
Sister My Writer.
Was it? Was Sister My Writer after trash show that people got mad at me because I didn't like?
Yeah.
Okay. Was it?
I'm pretty sure it was. It's been a little while. Maybe. And then before that was the Hot Springs, right?
Mm-hmm, Yuna.
Yeah, so it's been...
That one was the best animated sexy... No, it wasn't. Sisters All You Need was probably the best animated show.
Yeah.
Not best animated show.
It had the most wicked titties.
Most well animated bonkos.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Dude, hell yeah. So anyways, we'll find something trash to give you next season. But I feel like we've covered so many different genres. Like, of course, we're
going to start repeating now.
Yeah, so it's easy to start repeating. I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't something that like, oh, I still haven't seen one of these things. But, I mean, shoujo, sports, I feel like they're very specific, and there's always going to be somebody who likes them. And I know the kind of people that it would be. Isekai Cheat Magician, we also kind of knew, but this felt like it was new because isekai are always around, but this one was like, oh, God.
I'm waiting for the day we watch a show that you hate, I hate, Juan hates, and then I watch the second episode, and I'm like, oh okay. And the third one, I'm like, yeah. Because
I mean, it has to be fucking hate for you to watch it anyways. Because I feel like there probably are shows that were like, you know what? First episode didn't do it for me. Not going to continue watching it. And then the second episode might pick up like way fucking more. I don't know.
I mean, honestly, after the first episode of Domestic Girlfriend, I was like, this is horrifying.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, I watched the second episode. I'm like, okay. Oh, yeah, that's kind of interesting, actually. And then I watched all of it. And I was like, as a train wreck I couldn't look away from.
Mm-hmm.
It was like my Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's definitely possible. So, it'll be fun, though, if that does happen where I sit down, I'm like, I liked it.
We'll fucking see. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to find that shit that you might have a different opinion on than Juan and I, but Juan and I will still for sure be like, yeah, this is what Kyle's watching. And then you might be like, you know what? It was a great ass time.
Might be.
I don't know. We'll see. But is that everything you have to say about the show? Just don't watch Isekai Cheat Magician?
I mean, I would heavily suggest against it. It didn't, like I said, as a DM of Dungeons and Dragons and previously Pathfinder, lots of isekais are, no matter the quality, have the potential to give me inspiration.
Yeah.
Nothing here.
It was just the most milquetoast ass bullshit.
Oh my god, it was like playing Deprived in Dark Souls. You're just a naked ass man with a club.
Ugh.
It's got nothing going on.
Well, thank you so much for joining and filling in for Juan this week.
Of course.
I always like these episodes.
Yeah, it's really fun to do.
It's fucking... Anime is weird, dude. Anime is really fucking weird. On top of that, we're also watching another show that's pretty bad. Copcraft.
Copcraft got real shitty.
It was like, oh, these concepts. And then it was like, what happened to the coolest character ever made? Are they even animating anymore? I don't understand what this show is.
Yeah.
It just won't end. So I'm excited for our next episode, but we'll come to that conclusion, what it'll be later. Next week, just as a reminder, we're going to be reviewing Rascal Does Not Dream of Dreamy Girl, which is the sequel to Rascal Dreams of Bunny Girl Senpai. I recommend everybody go and watch that. It's really good. The title card doesn't give the show shit for credit. It's just one of our main characters dressed up as a bunny girl, and it's a little bit more provocative than the actual show is, which is a very smart, one of the best written character development shows I have seen. And essentially it's just it's kind of like your monster of the week, but it winds up being the girl's problem of the week. And it's like if a harem wanted to be a cool show and wasn't a harem.
Which, they're capable of.
Definitely, man.
Which is not often.
So that'll be next week. I'm excited for that. You guys tune in. We'll have a good time. And thank you again for listening and watching. If you watch if it's there or whatever on YouTube, on Facebook, whatever you fucking do.
Do you guys put up equalizers so they can watch the bars?
Not even. Listen, man.
You need to up your A game.
If I got paid for this, I would put in more effort than I do, but I'm very happy with the sound of the audio and the quality and everything compared to just fucking recording off of some bullshit. Okay. And that's good enough for me.
Okay.
You could put in the equalizers, you little fucker.
Okay.
You could put in all that extra shit.
All right.
Render it out for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't have that kind of time. I don't have that kind of time, Kyle. I'm not going to put in that kind of effort, Kyle. Nobody even would look at it. Who's even looking at it? Nobody is. I'm not looking at it. Okay. Thank you guys so much for looking at it. We are going to be seeing you in 1 week. I love you so much. If you like our logo, hit up Turvytops on turvytops.com. If you like our theme song, hit up Tom Nasser. He's on YouTube and SoundCloud and other places. That's Nasser, N-A-S-R. You could, I guess, never mind. Kyle, where the fuck can people find us?
What?
Throwing it to you. Where can people find us? Juan normally asks me. I'm asking you.
I mean, like on Facebook, it's Instant Ramen Podcast, and Twitter, are you still Instant Ramen Pod?
Yeah, because podcast wouldn't fit. Yeah.
I think you're YouTube. Do you post on YouTube?
Yeah.
Podbean? iTunes?
Uh-huh.
Are you guys on Twitch?
Yeah, we're on Twitch. Well, I mean, sometimes I'm probably going to wind up playing.
I have done that before.
Yeah, I would really like to play, what the fuck is the gator game called?
See you later, alligator.
I wasn't sure if it was Later Alligator or See It Later Alligator.
I could See You Later, alligator.
Anyways, we'll probably be playing that on Twitch if we do play it together, because I think that would be a fun one to show, because people like animation and people like cute shit like that.
Yeah.
And then I'll post up the VODs on our YouTube, because fuck it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you can find us on Instagram. Sierra works really hard and posts a bunch of different visuals and news on the Instagram. You could shoot us an email, instagrampodcast@gmail.com. Thank you guys again so much for listening. I had a blast. Thanks, Kyle, for joining me. And don't forget.
Don't forget to have a beautiful day or night, and just add hot water.